Good morning, everyone. We are so excited to be here with you all. And we just have a few things. If you want to make sure you're in the right place, if you were in person, you would be looking at the door and making sure you got in the right workshop, right? You'd be coming in and be like, oh, am I in the right spot, right? But today we're going to talk about mindful by design. What does that really mean, right? And what do we mean by that? We mean that being mindful by design is an intentional focus, grounding equity in the creation of your content. We leverage mindfulness to build community through opportunities to check in and connect with one another. This is the practice of our ancestors, and we incorporate it to draw upon their legacy and tradition. This helps us truly be present with one another and navigate the challenges of trauma that we've experienced in our past, or even what we may be currently experiencing. And we just wanted to let you know that we get a lot of questions about mindfulness and why we lean in. And so we wanted to make sure you understand where we're coming from. And how does mindfulness relate to STEAM, right? So a lot of what we talk about in regard to STEAM, there's levels of inquiry. So mindfulness gives you that chance to get your mindset to engage in a deeper inquiry with yourself and exploration with yourself before you actually dig in, unpack content, move forward in that way. We're glad to have everyone here. I think, Diego, we can pass it along, and we probably should introduce ourselves. So we act like we just know everybody. I mean, that's how we roll, I guess. I saw so many familiar faces that got thrown. Good morning. My name's Julie Sesser. I work with ASAP Connect, and I get the privilege of working with wonderful people like Lisa, Melissa, Jessica, and Danielle, and other familiar faces in this call today. We're a statewide organization that supports expanded learning programs and the system of support through the California Department of Education. We are housed in the Santa Clara County Office of Education, and I will pass it to my dear colleague who's currently on mute, but will be on the mic in a second. Diego?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, and it's an honor and pleasure to be with y'all. With some of y'all celebrities too, so humbled by being in your presence, and also excited about just sharing space with y'all. I also want to acknowledge too, and a deep appreciation for the folks who have opened their homes and their families in this space. Who would have thunk a year ago that we would be like in a PD session and people opening their homes and families? So if you got to do what you got to do, we totally understand and get that, because that's probably the more important thing right now. Diego Arancibia with ASAP Connect, the director. It's housed out of the Santa Clara County Office of Education. So we're a statewide partner with the California Department of Education, and we get to work with teams like Lisa, Melissa, Danielle, and then just throughout the state. So it's awesome to see these kind of people, and then giving us access to, or providing access to y'all. So excited about today, and hopefully kind of share some of what we've learned too, and some practices and techniques and insights, if you will, doing this mindfulness thing. So with that, before we go on, I'm gonna actually just make myself a little bit smaller. And I want to offer these mental models. And we use these mental models, you could call them guidelines, just a ways of thinking, a habit of thought when we go into the space. And this is, again, part of the mindfulness, like the intentionality when we go into any space. So when we look up here, we see these mental models, right? And the top above me is everyone has wisdom. Having that mental model that you go into a space, number one, it's not really common now that we talk about wisdom, of all places, in education, where we should be talking about wisdom, right? And I realized that wisdom is really just reflection, a series of reflection that you kind of document, if you want. But if we come into the space that everyone has wisdom, we understand that we need everyone's wisdom to get the wisest results. It's just basic mathematics, right? But we need everyone's wisdom because everyone has something to share. Understanding that, we have this other mental model that we understand that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And that's the something that's exponential growth, right? That individually we do something, but collectively we exceed expectations, we exceed our own expectations. And then also that kind of rubs against this idea that there are no wrong answers, right? There are no wrong answers in the sense that, what do you mean by that, Diego? Like, what does that mean? Sometimes we have to hold the space and not be the wanting to get the right answer. So when we have that space that we're learning, sometimes that wrong answer helps us learn better to fine tune and be more precise in either our language or our practice. And then also too, this is a reminder for myself and offer it to y'all, is everyone will hear others and be heard. All right, we want to make sure even in this virtual space, we want to maximize the connection. We like to say, we like to activate the chat box. We'll open up the mics too and do some breakouts, small group and then large groups. So it doesn't feel as awkward like you're at a yacht club and you're the only one that doesn't have a yacht, okay? It's a bad joke, it's a dad joke, sorry about that. And with that, I'm gonna transition over to Julie Sesser of where we're going today.
So where are we going today? We are going to start with a check-in with each other, and we're going to demonstrate how we cultivate community through mindfulness. We're going to review the elements of leading a mindful meditation and then practice different techniques. I'm not sure why it looks so stretched out on your screen, but that's what we're doing today. And next slide, Diego.
All right, we landed.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna take you through our practice, if you will, of, because we can sit here and talk slides and the science of it, and we have that. We can share that with you. But we want to kind of take you through the process of how to incorporate this into our kind of workflow, into our organization. So we're going to do a sit. It could be a relatively quick sit. It'll be more of a grounding sit, okay? And we'll actually, it's kind of cool that we'll be able to break that down a little bit. Okay, we'll do and then we'll do, after the kind of meditation sit, we'll do some individual journal writing, and then we'll do some breakout groups. Now, it might sound a lot, but just trust the process. Follow the music. The music will follow, put you in the right direction. But right now, what we like to do is actually engage in a little sit, get ourselves into the space. So what I like to do is maybe, first of all, is get yourself situated. You already been sitting, but just kind of get present to how you're sitting. Maybe even look around the room. Do a little glance, slow gaze in the room, see if what you notice. All right. And also too, you want to see if it's safe enough for you to either close your eyes or put a soft gaze. If you don't want to close your eyes, that's totally cool. You can put a soft gaze on the letter B on the keyboard or on the floor. The main thing is just to unlock that visual stimulation. Okay. So if you feel comfortable, go ahead and put that soft gaze down. And what I like to do is just maybe take a couple of deep breaths just to get the air flowing in my body. No need to rush, just getting present to the in and out of your breath. And what helps too is maybe just noticing how you landed in the seat or how you're standing or in the chair. So for where you're at, just how you landed. Maybe notice your feet, your legs, how your back is sitting against the chair. What I like to do is you notice how your hands are positioned. Now just bring some gentle awareness to the in breath and out breath. I like to choose a point, either the tip of the nose or the belly. See, you can just bring some awareness to it. The beginning and ending second. You don't need to control it. Just bring some awareness to it. Now, thoughts might be running through your head because that's what the mind does. To-do list, emails, texts. Notice it. Just notice it. And then gently and kindly, just go back to that breath. Let's see if you can get a deeper understanding of that quality of breath that you have. Remember, this breath has been with you since the day you were born. And maybe just do a quick body scan of top of the head, the mouth, the neck, the back, the belly, the legs, the feet. And see if you just notice any tension anywhere. If you notice some tension, with each breath, your friend right there, see if you can give it a little love and compassion, just massage it out a little, just relax a little. Again, just inhaling the good stuff and exhaling all the stress and anxiety and tension. Go ahead and take a few more breaths. And going back to the body. Maybe noticing where your feet, how they're feeling, wiggling your toes a little. Taking deeper breaths. And when you're ready, go ahead and crack those eyes open. And do another little glance at the room. See if you notice any colors. Give folks about a minute, 90 seconds, if you will, to do some journaling. And the question is real simple. It's what's alive in you? All right, what's alive in you? Or whatever comes to mind. So I'm gonna play some music, 90 seconds, and then we'll come back. About 30 more seconds, y'all. All right, as we welcome Vanessa and Tracy, they're probably like, I thought I joined the mindfulness workshop, not like some b-boy DJ and instrumental music. But welcome. Right now, we're just journaling right now. And I believe, Cesar, we have the breakout rooms, right? Ready?
Yeah, we have the breakout rooms ready. What we're going to do is we're going to do a short little opportunity to check in. And what happens, or our process for checking in, is that we will actually have one person decide who's going to share first. And that person will share just a few things of what maybe came up for them during the mindful moment, or just what's alive in you today. It's Monday. It's the first Monday after daylight savings time. So you might have lost an hour yesterday. I'm saying. But yeah, just checking in, whatever you need to share to be present, whatever you feel safe and comfortable to share. Anything that you share in the check-in is confidential, so you keep that amongst yourselves. And ask permission, or only share in the large space what's appropriate. And this session is being recorded, So it won't be recorded in the breakout rooms, but when you come back and share in the larger space, just want to give you a heads up that it is
Awesome.
being recorded. So yeah, we'll kick it off and send you over to breakout rooms now. You're gonna have a short time frame. This workshop session is a sprint rather than a marathon today. It's only 50 minutes long. So we're just gonna give you probably, do you think like 3 minutes each, Diego, 6 minutes? So you have 3 minutes to share and then pass it to your partner. So you might want to stick to the postcard version of the check-in rather than the telenovela, which is my dear friend Rosalinda's saying. But all right, I'm going to open up the rooms for you all. Enjoy connecting with one another. Welcome back, everyone.
Oh man, I messed up. I'm supposed to have intro music, y'all.
I know what happened, Diego.
Jeez, man, slipping.
DJ let me down, bro. All right. Erica, good to see you. Carlos, welcome. I think you just got here, unless you're playing with my emotions. Welcome.
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Is it Lucia or Lucia?
First one, Lucia.
Lucia. All right, just making sure.
Thank you.
Pronunciation is key, girl. Lucia.
Yeah, I've heard it said
Lucia.
both ways many times. So
Well, probably. I'm sure you're glad I didn't say Luscia or something weird, right? But I'm sure you heard it all.
I hear you. I'm very forgiving now. I think I'm forgiving now in my journey where I'm like, you know what? I know you're trying to talk to me.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's and no disrespect to the lushes out there.
Yeah, no disrespect to Luscias. Yeah. Good morning. Welcome, Julia. So great to see you.
All right.
Welcome back. So how was that? You want to give your partner some love in the chat or appreciation? You can drop it in. That's how we do.
We also like to label that that's actually an act of generosity.
Yeah.
Of sending some love or appreciation in the chat box.
Oh, Julia's got the radios and the mic. I'm sure, you know, she's at the school site, so they're probably asking for the custodian or something. Or, you know, at least it's not a fire drill, right? I shouldn't jinx us, but yes, we got you, girl. We know what it's like. Lots of love in the space. Danielle thanking Olga. Blessed to start her day with her. Aw. Love for Arlene from Rosie. Love the conversation. Happy to talk to Rosie from Arlene. It's mutual. Awesome to catch up. Erica, a little shout out for support from Lucia. You got this, girl. Makes me curious to know what they were talking about. Oh, but you know, not to be nosy. And Lisa, love for Julia. Pleasure meeting each other. So yeah, why did we do that? We believe that you have to create spaces that cultivate community. And that if you give people the chance to be mindful, to take a moment in the space, to be present, we like hop, you know, we hop from one meeting to the next, like from one Zoom space to the next. And our brains are just like on overload. I mean, you know, Zoom fatigue, you guys have heard it. After a year of this, you guys have heard of Zoom fatigue, and it's real. You get to the end of the day and you're like, please don't make me look at another screen. And then what do? Check out your phone, watch TV maybe, and then you're like, oh, your eyes are just tired, you're just exhausted, right? And so this mindful practice, we actually integrate every meeting that we facilitate. So you think, oh, well, if you're being mindful like 8 times a day, then you should be super zen as people, right? Well, we wish, right, Diego? I mean, if only, but at least it helps us keep balanced and more grounded. And that regular practice is what really, really helps us. Anybody want to share anything on the mic about having that opportunity to be mindful to start the workshop, to open up the space?
I can go.
Okay. Yes.
So I got my link this morning and I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, yay. I get to see Diego and Julie. So thank you guys. But I was telling Rosie, because I know Diego was saying to like look around the room, and I have like so many flowers on my kitchen table right now. It was
Yeah.
my birthday over the weekend.
Oh, happy
And thank
birthday.
you. And I was just saying that I'm just super grateful for everything and everyone that I have in my life, and just like so appreciative of everything. Just, you know, we've all gone through so much this past year, and, you know, being able to share and open up to people, I think has been amazing. And I'm thankful for you too, because I know, you know, with our sessions, it was amazing. So thank you for that.
Mm, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing that little beautiful baby.
Yes. And happy belated birthday, echoing Lisa in the chat box. Oh my goodness. I'm a Pisces too, girl. March 7th was my birthday. So what? So sorry. Yeah, favoritism for March birthdays. I come by it naturally. Diego, I think we're gonna go back to our little slide deck here.
Yeah, and shout out to Danielle. I mean, I'm not surprised, but just push pause on that. I'm just reading that, right? Danielle, this is from Olga. Danielle, you're amazing. You're the energy that I needed. Thank you. Monday morning, y'all. This is Monday morning, y'all. Who says that? Like Danielle, every
Yes.
Monday morning. We're scheduling Monday mornings. with
Every
you,
Monday
Danielle.
morning with Danielle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Start your day with Danielle.
All right,
So
y'all. We're gonna take some time. I'm gonna do a little micro lesson, and then this is, you got to hear me talk, y'all. So I'll try to make it as painless as possible, if that's possible. It's double word possible. Anyways, so deconstructing the mindfulness piece. Why mindfulness matters, the science, and we understand too that there's actual biological science based in the mindfulness practice, right? We're able to push pause, that our body resets, our physiological body is able to reset itself. And also too, the neuron activities, when you're able to just get present with that. And we can, you know, Julie Sesser, she has a link of resources. And we found it's also important too, when we introduce mindfulness, different folks, different strokes. For some people, they don't need a big push on the science piece. They're looking at more, how do I make this like more accessible to my communities and families that I work with? And some other folks, they do need the science because it's data driven. And so you want to be sensitive to that as well. But we did want to get into some of the more nuts and bolts, because in terms of creating more equitable spaces, or where we can have more conversation where equity is more of a state of being, where we're kind of in that awareness, the mindfulness piece helps it set it up. It helps it set up to have fuller, deeper, more enriching conversations, all right? But what we want to mention too, some of the things that we go into the deconstruction of it, we want to make sure that when you're starting off, that the pacing is important, right? So starting off and leading and deconstructing, give yourself, like for me, what my teacher would give me, like, okay, start with 3 minutes, 2 minutes, then go up to 5 minutes, then 10 minutes. And then pretty soon you'll start feeling for yourself, as an individual practice, the more quote unquote weight you'll put on that bar, if you will. But when you're leading it with a group, you know, you want to keep it, you want to be able to have a temperature check about the room. You don't want to be doing a 10-minute sit, right? And then you only have 3 minutes in the slot. People are going to go up and get upset with you. Then also too, is setting the tone. When we say there is really, you know, making it comfortable. So if you are agitated, if you're hyped up, that energy is going to be transmitted. And sometimes, like Julie says, right, we're meeting, and we'll start into the next meeting, and our energy is so off the chart, we'll take a break, and then we'll realize, hey, Cesar, can you lead a sit? And we are charged, but when we do that, we push pause, we're able to name the anxiety or the stress, and it doesn't name us. So then we're able to push pause. So even if you're already starting the meeting, if you forget that step about, hey, let's do a check-in, you can always go back to it. Mindful moment, they can use it as silence, no one's talking, right? Guided meditation, like which I did, right? You could use music or sound too. We've done that as well. And you can even argue too, the journaling too with the music, that's part of it as well. 3 to 7 minutes is a good cushion if you want to start this out. Well, that's what I found. And then if you notice too, just the sequence, right? Kind of talked about how we're going to do it. This is the kind of structure. And then we actually did the sit. Then we brought people back to the space, individual time to journal. And then we broke people off into smaller groups and then big groups. Very different if we would have, okay, let's sit. So what do you guys think? We just jumped, it would kind of feel abrupt. So when we bring you back to the space, that journal prompt is key, right? And then that's a good practice to inculcate in folks, that journaling, that reflection. And then we do a full group check-in in small groups. And that's what we found, again, it's like the chat box, to open up the mics, but you have that time for a small group, large group. But again, you can just look at the chat box. It's becoming more generative, the space, a lot of love. We're starting to see babies. We're starting to see birthdays. We're starting to see celebrations and whatnot, and also some hopes and some anxieties, okay? So we want to honor, we had an hour to do this, right? 20 minutes. We want to give you some guidelines of just two kind of archetypes, if you will, or styles of meditations. There's a resourcing, right? We could talk about that, right? And there's a grounding, but the resourcing, we're just going to go over the overview and then some specifics. When you do a resourcing meditation, it's more about building the strength and resilience of the person, a sense of peace, right? It involves like memories or taking person through memory lane. And you've seen that, you know, you're going through a forest and you see a bear and you know, you kind of take a person through that journey and you script it out, right? But it's also, again, to draw on the positive memories of a person, place, or thing, real or imaginary, like a person you would like to meet, right? Someone that's caring to you. Doesn't have to be real or imaginary. It could be a dog, it could be an animal. It could be a person in history. When the person is feeling distressed or encountering something triggering, right? So they can have access to that resource that you help them find that kind of moment of breath, right? And it aids us to staying calm and present, especially when we're encountering these challenging emotions and memories. And this pandemic has been a case in point, and we're going to share some things about that as well. Some resourcing specifics, though. Recall a thing, a person, or place which brings calm or safety, real or imagined. So for me, so this is like not just, I'm sharing with you some of the secrets. If I was y'all, I would be taking notes. Okay, what is a thing, person, place that brings me calm? If I can't give what I don't have. So if I'm not practicing this, this is the distinction with us. It's an embodied practice. It's not something we're going to give you the slide deck and you have mindfulness and go ahead and do. No, we do this stuff. Like today, 10 minutes before, because I knew I was going to come here, 10 minutes. And what did I see at the end of 10 minutes? Damn it, I need another 10 minutes. That's how this thing works, right? You can't give what you don't have. So do this for yourself. Recall a thing, person, place, or thing which brings them calm, safety, real or imagined. Look for details of the resource as a way to generate a sense of calm when the stressor arises. Some people are great at this. Some people are really good at writing scripts and narratives. And so other people are good at narrating. So you can have a kind of partnership too when you have a team. And then you should focus on the emotional aspects of the memory, right? What kind of joy? What was the sensation, right? How did it feel? And I'm going fast, y'all, because again, we have about maybe 15 minutes and we want to do like a couple more things. But again, these are the resourcing. That's one archetype, right? When we do a sit, you might notice it when people lead it. It'll be, oh, okay, that's a resourcing meditation. Now, when we flip it, there's a grounding. And what I did was a grounding meditation. This afternoon, y'all, just let you know, this afternoon at lunch, I'm going to be doing a resourcing. So, you know, just kind of give you some secret notes. The grounding one, it provides a sense of stability. If you notice, like what I begin with, I think the feet, you know, touching the floor, getting present to the current reality. And then this can further assist us in staying resilient during stressful times, right? Just getting into the present, right? And just breathing. And it involves connecting the sense of gravity. Again, some of the language I use, right? How your body falls on the chair or sits and lands in the space. But that's a grounding. So we have a resourcing to get more tools. A grounding is to get the present moment. So you'll notice in meetings, when we do this, we'll end up starting with a grounding meditation. Right. And then when we start breaking out, doing like ideation and brainstorming, we might do a resourcing kind of meditation is with that. And then some specifics. Again, this is the eyes things is big because we do it in juvenile hall. We don't say close your eyes because, you know, brothers don't want to close their eyes in juvenile hall, understandably so. Right. But what we do say is try to unlock that visual stimulation. You either put a soft gaze on the floor or on the keyboard. The main thing is just that you don't want to get caught up in the world around you, right? And I'll give you a brief story. When I was leading one time, I was in a participant. And I just cracked my eyes open one time after she told us, you know, and I saw someone's name tag. And I went in for like, oh my God, I'm supposed to wear a name tag. I should have worn my, where did my mind go, right? I went onto this whole silly drama about not having a name tag. So this could be a funny little story for me to like why I like to kind of get centered, either soft gaze or eyes closed. Bring attention to the sense of gravity, the points of contact, the chair, the seat. Makes it a little difficult now because sometimes people are standing, you're not in the physical space. So you want to do a quick survey, maybe even before, and how people are kind of positioned. Focus, again, focus, I like the feet, wiggling their toes, gently push right. Yesterday I did a sit and I realized my belly was wanting me, like I haven't neglected my belly and fed it in other ways, you know what I'm saying? But it needed me to engage it, right? And that was something that was, again, when you can listen to your body, it can tell you the secrets of what you need. It might be saying, Tracy, you're tired. Maybe you should take a nap. It could say, Julie, you know what? You're thirsty. You need more water, all right? From this point, and I'm not saying, I'm just talking about myself and just saw you on the screen. From this point, we say, one can start to bring a gentle awareness, right? And I use kind awareness, gentle, because you know, what we get, we want to compete. It's like, oh, I'm doing this wrong. Oh my God, I'm starting to think about the email again. Oh my God. It's not about getting it right. It's about forgetting, remembering, just the in and out. So that gentle awareness of the in and out breath, I use the tip of the nose or the belly, you can use whatever. And then also we'll give you an app so you can just listen to some of the brothers that we work with mind body awareness. And then what I love about it too is they have it in Spanish, y'all. Because when we talk about equity for mindfulness, we have to make it accessible to the people, to the gente, right? And I'm not talking about some Castilian, you know, Spanish or Google Translate. I'm talking about people who can translate it with, like, even with the dog mind, lion mind, the brothers translate it really is like El León y la Chihuahua, right? That is more applicable to the lion mind, dog mind. So again, digressing, when the mind wanders, rehearsing and rehashing, right? We gently invite it back to the point of focus. We gently going back to, right? And you'll find it, that's what it does, right? But when you have that moment of stillness, you'll be able to see new ideas, but also too, new secrets about yourself in terms of what your body needs. And I'll pass it over to Julie Sesser. Woo!
Wow, that was a lot. And we only have 5 minutes left with y'all. So I've been dropping resources in the chat like it was my full-time job. So I have a link to a bit of the science, which is just like 4 slides with some of the research behind mindfulness. And there's actual science related to when you focus on your breath, it impacts the level of cortisol. And some of you that know about cortisol is released in our bodies when we're under stress, right? So returning to your breath, remember, people will try to get people to calm down. They just say, take a breath or focus on your breath. It really works. And that's why mindfulness is so powerful. So there's definitely, if you want to play with that, there's also a book called The Body Keeps Score, which is a very cool book about how your body responds to trauma and just reaction. It's just a really, really cool book. I also put a link in the chat regarding meditation. If you're new to this, and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I need some music or I need something to like whatever. First of all, we put a link to the app called My Life. It's free. And like Diego, he already gave it a plug. It's also in Spanish as well. So it makes it a lot more accessible for folks to hear it in their native language, which is also, you know, like Diego said, the translation is just lost sometimes when it's translated to English from the native language. So that's kind of a cool feature. Meditation with Monterey Bay Aquarium. You could actually do this with your students, or you could do this for yourself, but we definitely encourage you to start your own practice and get comfortable with mindfulness before you try to lead it or do it with someone else. And we also gave you a link to the PowerPoint. We went through these slides pretty quick, 50 minutes is a sprint. So we want you to have those resources after the workshop. And we'd like to offer you a challenge. And those I have coached in this space, I won't name names, but they know all about my challenges and requests. So I like to offer people a challenge to work on their own personal mastery. And we'd love to challenge you to commit to integrating your own mindful practice with yourself, to not just talk about it, be about it, to be a real model, not a role model, right? To really be living the practice. But if you want your staff to be more mindful and you want to promote this with your students, then what are you going to do to show them that you're living it, right? You're living your practice. If you already have, like maybe you already integrate a mindful practice, then we want you to up your game by leading a mindful meditation in a future meeting. And you can use a script to start and then venture off on your own. And we are actually doing a little kickoff at the lunch hour with the large group. And we'll be sharing the resource for teaser, sneak peek, the Lion Mind, Dog Mind. So we'll be giving you access to a script that you could actually use. Oh, and a little morning shout out for Danielle. She's going to be doing the mindful moment on Thursday morning. So you can start your day with Danielle because you already did today and you know what that was like. So come back and see her on Thursday. I think anything else, Diego, maybe you want to just share our quote, and then we're going to also drop in, as we close, we're going to drop in a workshop evaluation just so you can give us some feedback. We know this was super quick, y'all. So we hope you got something out of it. We have this from one of our School of Leadership and Facilitation TA coaches. Diego, I'll pass it to you. Oh, you're on mute, my friend.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm back on mute. So this is one of our TA fellows. Keeps on popping up on mute. So this is one of our TA fellows, Gene Wilson. He's been in the inaugural cohort from Sacramento. And he's like many of our TA fellows that resisted maybe or like struggled with the mindfulness piece at the beginning, right? And it's not the first time, we always done that, but when the pandemic hit, the two things that we focused on our TA fellows, well-being and how do we learn. So the mindfulness piece we knew was essential to the well-being piece, right? And this is why I want to share this quote because it's real and we're talking about STEAM and equity, but this is why we do what we do. Okay, this is why to me it's like, and I came across this, right? He's a lion, brother's majestic. And when he shared this quote, I'm gonna invisible myself. Mindfulness has been an absolute savior for me. It has been so necessary to keep me afloat and out of the darkness. I lost my father December 6, 2020, and life has changed drastically because of it. This practice has been necessary for me. Gene Wilson. And to me, like, if we ain't doing that, what are we doing? If we ain't doing that, what are we doing? It's not just a head trip. If we ain't changing people's lives and helping them change and get a hold of their own lives, then what are we doing? So to me, this was a reminder of like, yeah, the social emotional stuff, it begins with me. And it begins around the people that I'm around, right? And it's possible. We can create, we can design with intentionality to have this transformation. So thank you all. And I'll pass over to you, Cesar.
I think if you just want to share contact information, just because this was so quick, if anyone wanted to connect or ask a question or something comes up for you about mindfulness, we love being with you all in this space. And we shared a bunch of resources in the chat. So you may want to like copy those, dig into those later. It's an honor to be with you this Monday morning, and we hope that this was worthwhile. And if you have any parting words on the mic, we'd love to hear your thoughts or just any acknowledgements of anyone else in the space. And thank you for your time.